Hey there, Mountaineers! Welcome to episode 13 of Historyland. I'm Matterhorn Matt, and in this episode, we'll be talking about the history of the mine train through nature's Wonderland. Let's get started. As you all know, Frontierland is one of Disneyland's 6 major themed lands. When you think of Frontierland today, what probably comes to mind are the sounds of a thundering mine train, the peaceful sounds of a flowing river, or the laughter and singing of guests in a saloon. But back when Disneyland first opened, the dynamic of Frontierland was very different than what it is today. Before there was a runaway mine train, you had the chance to hop on a real-life pack mule. Now, compared to the high-tech attractions we have now, this ride doesn't seem as thrilling or exciting. But back when the mule pack attraction opened, this attraction could have been one of your all-time favorite rides. Now, there were 3 different iterations of the pack mule attraction. The first was the Mule Pack, which opened in 1955 with the park. The second was the Rainbow Ridge Pack Mules, which opened in 1956. And the third and final version was the Pack Mules Through Nature's Wonderland, which opened in 1960. The attraction was kept fairly the same throughout all 3 iterations. When the ride first opened in 1955, guests could board their very own mule and take a journey through the desert with scenic views such as dirt hills and trees. The real change came when the ride was redesigned in 1956, which introduced an all-new attraction, one that paved the way for all new sights and sounds.
Coming up next, learn about Disney history with Matterhorn Matt on Historyland.
Mickey's Nutcracker show is keeping everyone on their toes. It's a Nutcracker that's just a little nutty.
Celebrate.
Don't miss the magical Very Merry Christmas Parade
At Disneyland.
Come to Disneyland now and catch the Christmas spirit early.
Very Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas. Christmas time at Disneyland.
In 1953, the Rainbow Caverns mine train opened. This slow-moving attraction gave guests breathtaking views of balancing rocks, funky-looking cacti, and the beautiful Rainbow Caverns, and its amazing glowing and colorful water. This expansion also enhanced the already existing pack mules, stagecoaches, and the Conestoga wagons. But even with $2 million spent to convert the dirt hills into the living desert, Walt still wasn't happy with the attraction. So in 1960, Walt spent another $1.8 million to transform the living desert into Nature's Wonderland, which included 204 animatronic animals, the 75-foot Cascade Peak, and new environments based on Walt Disney's True Life adventures. The newly renamed Mine Train Through Nature's Wonderland also opened in 1960. Riders boarded the train in the mining town of Rainbow Ridge. The train takes you through breathtaking scenes such as Bear Country, Beaver Valley, the Living Desert, and the Rainbow Caverns. All of the scenes are enhanced by the 200-plus animatronics. As your train pulls out of the station, an old miner begins narrating, a familiar voice if you've ridden Big Thunder Mountain.
Howdy, folks. Welcome to the little mining town of Rainbow Ridge, the gateway to nature's wonderland. As we head for the wilderness, a couple of suggestions. Please stay seated at all times and keep your hands and arms inside the train. The animals get mighty hungry. And no smoking, please, because we don't want to start a forest fire. Now, beyond these hills lies nature's wonderland. You're apt to see a whole lot of wildlife, so keep a real sharp hunter's eye. As we come out of this first tunnel, we'll be entering Beaver Valley. Looks like the beavers are building another dam. Yes, sir, they're really busy as a, well, busy as a beaver. Them little marmots over the tunnel must be a-whistling to all you pretty gals. I can't say I blame them. If you never gone beneath a waterfall before, then get set, because we're coming up on Big Thunder, the biggest falls in all these here parts. You don't have to worry, though, unless the wind changes. Them other two falls they call the Twin Sisters. Reckon that's 'cause they're always babbling. We're coming into bear country now, folks. And while we're crossing the old trestle, you gotta sit real still. No telling how long she's gonna last. You know, bears are one of the most playful animals there is. Lazy, too. All they want to do is lay around and scratch and fish and swim. That is when they ain't sleeping. You know, nature's wonderland is awful pretty, but sometimes she can be a mighty rugged place to live. Out here in the wilderness, the struggle for survival leaves only the strong and sometimes the lucky. Say, look on that bank across Bear Creek there. Now there's a real struggle for survival. Two stags are battling for them cow elk. Maybe you folks can tell me, though, does getting two women folk mean you're the winner or the loser? Never could figure that out. As we pass through old Natural Arch Bridge, you can see the great living desert down below. You know, the desert's a dry place and full of some pretty mean varmints. Gotta be careful of sidewinders, wild pigs, and even mountain lions. But the desert's got her beauty, too. The yeller streaks are running through them sandstone cliffs are called coconino. The red, we call them supai. Now ahead of us, folks, is a giant saguaro cactus forest. The desert heat sometimes gets to you and makes these here cactus take on strange shapes like animals. Sometimes even people. Aha! Look down there on your left. Them wild pigs is caught up with old Mr. Bobcat. He's in kind of a sticky situation. Say, ever hear of the devil's paint pots? Real mystery of the desert. Bubbling pots of mud in all kinds of colors. This is geyser country, too. Oh, there she blows. Sure glad you all brought your raincoats, but look out now. We never know when she's gonna go off. That's why we call her Old Unfaithful. Look out now! You folks in them last cars be ready. She's a-threatening again. You know, I hear tell a long time ago dinosaurs roamed this area. Of course, all you find now is cactus, snakes, and coyotes. And sometimes the sun-bleached bones of an ancient animal. There's the voice of the desert, the coyote. Now, folks, we gotta get through Balancing Rock Canyon. Look out! They're starting to tumble. Watch that wildcat, lady. Oh, glad he stayed up there. We've known these critters to take on a full-grown deer more than 10 times their size and weight. You know, last trip, a mountain lion showed up right over that tunnel. There's one now, so you better all be real quiet. Now we're going deep into the earth to view the dazzling rainbow caverns. You'll see giant stalagmites, stalactites, and colorful falls on every side. Say, if you look real careful, you'll see Geyser Grotto, and even the Witch's Cauldron. Well, I see we're coming back to Rainbow Ridge again. I hope you all enjoyed your trip into nature's wonderland. Please stay in your seats till I get the train stopped, will you? And then just lift up the jump seat in the middle and the door will come right open. Now, to find the exit, folks, just head right for the front of the train. And if you got a mountain lion sitting next to you, don't feed him. Just tell him to hop out and hightail it back to his own stomping ground. Well, thanks for riding along, and come on back again when you're out in these here frontier parts, will you? So long.
The attraction was an instant hit with guests, and cost the highest and most expensive ticket, the E-ticket. But in later years it was demoted to just a D-ticket, and in 1977 the ride would close for good. Rumors of a runaway mine train circulated around, and in 1979 those rumors proved to be true.
Up next, learn about Disney history and more with Matterhorn Matt on Historyland.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, presenting a spectacular entertainment adventure. Circus Fantasy at Disneyland. A colossal menagerie of elephants, clowns, and acrobats in an awe-inspiring, death-defying, breathtaking, spell-binding Disney extravaganza. The greatest show has come to the happiest place. Circus Fantasy at Disneyland.
In 1979, the Big Thunder Mountain Railroad opened to guests, replacing the mine train through Nature's Wonderland, stagecoaches, and the pack mules. The ride, designed by Tony Baxter, became an instant hit with guests, and gave new life into the already decaying Frontierland of the past. The ride is themed after a runaway mine train, and the story varies from park to park. There are very few remains of the attraction it replaced. For example, the tunnel that the train passed through is still intact, and sometimes you can still see the jumping fish. The last remnants of the ride is the town of Rainbow Ridge, although it has shrunk in size. And, like I mentioned before, the narrator of Big Thunder Mountain is none other than Dallas McKinnon, who also narrated the mine train through Nature's Wonderland, as well as many other beloved characters. And maybe one day, we'll see a proper tribute to the amazing attraction, so newer generations of Disney fans can love it just like the ones who got to experience it. And that's the history of the mine train through Nature's Wonderland. I hope you all enjoyed, and I want to hear your thoughts on the ride. Did you ever get to experience it? If so, let us know in the comments. If you'd like a more detailed explanation on the backstory of the ride and the history of all the other rides around it, head over to my friend Alex the Historian's channel, and you can hear him talk more about the mine train ride. Just a heads up, there won't be a podcast next week since it's Christmas, but next Friday I will be posting a review of Star Wars The Last Jedi with my friend Manny from Ready Set Disney. And if you're just aching to listen to Alex and I talk, go listen to this week's podcast episode, where we talk about Disney's recent acquisition of 21st Century Fox. Yeah, it's really just this huge deal that happened, and one of the major points that Alex brought up was the fact that Disney now basically owns Hulu, and we were discussing a couple weeks ago of whether they're going to create their own streaming service from the ground up, or whether they're gonna, buy out Netflix or Hulu, like we said. And I guess it turns out they might just rebrand Hulu into their own Disney streaming service. And another really big, little, I don't know what the word is, like tidbit or something like, I don't know.
A big little tidbit.
A big little tidbit, guys. I just can't think of the words. The fact that Bob Iger is going to be extending his contract through 2021, and there were recent rumors a couple weeks ago that he was going to be stepping down in 2019, and that Bob Chapek would be taking over his place, and I guess those rumors turned out to be false, and he's going to be staying on for however many years in 2021 is from now. I can't do math right now, but a lot of other YouTubers and I are trying to put together some sort of meetup in the future next year. So if you guys would like to meet me, Alex, or Manny, or possibly any other YouTubers, be sure to comment down below, and we'll hopefully be able to get something set up sometime next year. I hope you all enjoyed, and as always, have a great big beautiful tomorrow.